What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got more Blood Hunt. This time with the Avengers issue number 16 and the finale to this team's tie-ins to the Blood Hunt series. And if you guys missed the last issue or any other parts of this event, then I put up a card at the top of the screen for you. And I'll put a link at the end of the video as well to the last video and the playlist. But when we left off with this series, this alternate version of the team was taking on Baron Blood and his vampires aboard a helicarrier, while the main Avengers squad deal with the Blade threat in this event. But Captain America Steve Rogers and his team found out that Blood had a whole lot more victims imprisoned on this helicarrier than originally thought. And there'd be no way to evacuate all of them, limiting their options. So Cap did the only thing that he could think of, and he took control of the helicarrier. So if you guys are ready to find out how the Avengers get out of this jam with a helicarrier full of hostages, trying to survive against an army full of vampires, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So this issue kicks off right where the last one ends, as Steve Rogers now pilots the helicarrier. And for him, it's been quite some time since he's piloted one of these, so it's a bit of an adjustment period for him, but he doesn't take too long to gather himself. Baron Blood, meanwhile, thinks that Cap has lost his mind. But Cap's plan is pretty simple. If the vamps have taken away the sunlight, then they'll just go and find it, as Cap takes this helicarrier up past the dark force and into the sunlight. And once they make it past the dark force, Cap then sets the autopilot and re-engages Baron Blood. Meanwhile, the rest of the Avengers team continue to take out the vampires, and Hercules even starts chucking them out of the hatch into the sun like baseballs. But then Hazmat and Pietro notice that the vampires all seem to be running away in the same direction, leading Pietro to radio Cap and tell him that the vamps are retreating, and it would appear that they have a plan in play. But Cap's busy with Baron Blood right now, so he insists that Pietro handle it himself and go break up whatever they've got planned. But then Rogers decides to try and bait Baron Blood into revealing what his soldiers have up their sleeve, and Baron Blood actually falls for it. Of course they've got a plan for if things seem like they were lost. Blood means to destroy this entire ship, with everyone on it, just to take out the great Captain America. So of course Cap questions if Blood is willing to sacrifice his own people just to accomplish this. But for Blood, it's a simple choice. Of course he would sacrifice them. Losing them is no great loss, he tells Cap. And there will never be a shortage of fools waiting to step in line. But unbeknownst to Baron Blood, Pietro was still listening in on that entire conversation with his Avengers card, and he rallies the team to go and run interference. First, he sends Hercules and Hazmat to keep clearing out the vampires and keeping them away from the civilians. But then as he gets ready to give an order to Kate Bishop, she changes it up and insists that she come with him. Remember, she memorized the plans for the helicarrier at the age of 12, so she knows where they need to go and what they need to do. So Pietro scoops her up and she tells him that they've got to get to the reactor deck, and then they speed off. Meanwhile, Herc and Hazmat seem to have formed a nice little partnership between the two of them during this event. And honestly, I really like their chemistry together. And they easily wipe out each vamp they come across. Kate and Pietro, meanwhile, do the same as they arrive at the reactor control room. And right now, the blast doors to the room are closed and locked. But they really need to get in there to stop the vamp's plans, because she knows that an emergency reactor dump is the fastest way to shut down a helicarrier. But Pietro has a plan for the door. He was just waiting on Kate to give him the satisfaction of asking for his help. And then he buzzes the call button for the reactor room. And as we see Hazmat and Herc taking care of business while Cap does the same against Baron Blood, Pietro tells the vamps inside the room that the Avengers have taken their ship. And as he speaks, the rest of his colleagues are annihilating their crew, and Captain America is taking it to their leader, Baron Blood. But the vampires in the room laugh this off because they know that Captain America cannot survive a crash from this altitude. But Quicksilver quickly reminds them about 1945 when everybody thought the same thing. The vamps though offer to die for their cause, just to take out the Avengers with them. They will be remembered as honored martyrs, they tell them. Baron Blood will recite their names on the list of heroes. But in hearing their reasoning, Pietro comes up with a different idea then, and he plays back Baron Blood's declaration of sacrificing his crew, and how it would be no great loss for him, and plenty others were waiting to step in line to take their place. See, Pietro had recorded Baron Blood's entire speech on his Avengers card. So now, after hearing Blood's words, these vampires ask Quicksilver for their freedom and survival if they open the door, which Pietro happily gives his word and agreement for. So these guys open the door and they go running out, allowing Kate Bishop to go inside and do her thing. Pietro, meanwhile, though, tells Kate that he's gonna go and help out Cap now, as long as she has her part covered, which she does. And as we see those vamps that had cleared out of the reactor room running for their lives and making plans to take a few hostages for food for later, Quicksilver speeds right in front of them with a couple stakes in hand. And they react by reminding him that he did give his word that he'd let them live. But Pietro responds that they stopped living the moment they became vampires. Besides, he's done way worse than breaking his word before. Plus, he's still really pissed about his sister Wanda. Herc and Hazmat, though, they make their way through the helicarriers. They've got no more vampires to take out now. And they end up finding Captain America still fighting against Baron Blood. And they watch on as Cap now starts to taunt Baron Blood about how the helicarrier still seems to be flying, since Kate seems to have gotten the reactor sorted out. And not only that, but Herc and Hazmat add in that they've taken out Baron's army. And now, having regrouped with a couple more of his Avengers teammates, Cap tells Blood that it's over for him now. So Baron Blood responds by attempting to escape. So Cap then flings his shield at Blood to stop him, but instead he misses and breaks the window, instead allowing Blood to flee. Cap had forgotten to adjust to the new silver shield that he'd previously bragged about. But then Pietro arrives, and Cap tries to tell Pietro that he's late and Baron Blood got away, but Pietro doesn't seem to be too concerned about it. See, it's fortunate that he was taught how to be an Avenger by the great Captain America back when he was a young ex-supervillain, he tells Steve. And one of the lessons that was taught to him by the war vet was to always have a backup plan, which he believes in passing on to the next generation. As we then see Kate Bishop standing at the window with Baron Blood in her sights and her arrow pulled back and firing position. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. So what did you guys think about the issue? And how did you like the Avengers tie-ins for Blood Hunt? Did you like the new team, even if it was only on a temporary basis? And would you like to see more of this iteration of the Avengers team? Plus, I want you guys to let me know how hyped you are for the introduction of Storm to the Avengers team in the next issue. That is, if you are hyped for it. I want to hear all you guys' thoughts and theories down in the comments, along with how you think that Kate Bishop scene really ended with Baron Blood in your mind. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you can do so by stopping by the Comics Icon store and grabbing you some of this merchandise, including the background music heard right here in this video available for download. Or by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership. And there'll be a link in the description to join. But with your membership, your voice will be heard during our interactive live streams with yours truly, where we can talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future and other comic news. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts, and up to 20% off of Comics Icon's merchandise from the Comics Icon store. Plus, we've got tiers to the memberships as well, beginning at just 99 cents. Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of that, then you can still be a tremendous help to the future of this channel by dropping a like. share, and subscribe in the comics icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.